I recently moved to this town hoping for a fresh start, a sense of peace away from the chaos of my past. It's been a month now, and I'm staying in a small one-bedroom apartment. It's not much, but it's mine. The place is quiet, almost too quiet. It's a stark contrast to the noise and constant activity I left behind. I'm used to being around people, but here, everything is still, and sometimes the silence becomes overwhelming. For the first few days, it felt like a welcome change. I enjoyed the solitude, the quiet mornings, the peaceful nights. It was the kind of calm I had always longed for. But as the days turned into weeks, I started to feel the absence of something, or perhaps someone. I had no visitors, no company, and soon the stillness began to feel suffocating. I thought I'd be fine, that I could manage on my own, but it wasn't that simple. One evening, feeling restless, I decided to go through some old photos on my phone. I often did this when I felt lonely, looking at pictures from vacations, family gatherings, and old memories that made me feel connected to something larger than this empty apartment. As I was scrolling, I came across a photo that stopped me in my tracks. It was a picture of me, sleeping. I didn't remember ever taking this photo. I could tell it was recent. The quality of the image was clear, the lighting of my room exactly as it was. My face was relaxed, peaceful, almost serene. But what struck me the most was how perfectly the shot was framed. It didn't look like a typical selfie or a candid shot taken by a friend. No, this was taken from a distance, as if the photographer was carefully watching me while I slept. The strange thing was, I was sure I had been alone. No one had visited, and I hadn't invited anyone over. I live on the third floor of the building, far from the street, with no one having easy access to my apartment. I looked around my apartment, trying to reassure myself that it was just some odd coincidence, maybe a slip of the finger while the camera was on. But the thought didn't settle. I could feel my heart race as a sinking feeling took hold. Had someone been in my apartment while I was sleeping? The more I thought about it, the more it didn't make sense. I always locked the doors before bed. I never heard any sounds. No doors creaked open, no footsteps echoed through the hall. How could someone have been in here without me knowing? The photo was unsettling in its quietness, like a silent observation. I started thinking back to the last few nights. Could someone have been watching me? Could I have missed something? I couldn't even remember the last time I'd been fully at ease here. Every time I went to bed, it was with a vague feeling that something wasn't right, that I was being watched. But I had dismissed it as paranoia. But now, with this photo staring back at me, the possibility seemed too real to ignore. I couldn't stop wondering. Who took this photo? Why? Was it a simple prank, or was there something more to it? The unsettling thought gnawed at me. I tried to convince myself that it was just my mind playing tricks, but deep down I knew this wasn't something I could easily brush aside. I had been alone for so long, but now, that silence felt like a lie. The quiet wasn't peaceful, it was hiding something. Someone had been in my apartment when I thought I was alone, and somehow, they had taken a photo while I slept without my knowledge.